Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Could we all please stand? And students, could you lead us in the pledge? Thank you. I'm going to now ask for a moment of silence in memory of Elvira Fernandez, who passed away in August. Ms. Fernandez was hired in October of 1976. She worked as it was called back then paraprofessional, now called a paraeducator at the Milldale Elementary School and Central/Daranowski Elementary School. And she retired in 2002. So she was a staff member with us for over 25 years. So a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Now, next on our agenda is the celebration of excellence. And normally, with our celebrations of excellence, we talk about our staff, we talk about our students. Tonight, we're going to talk about Dave Daranowski. So, David, could you come down with me, please?
In order?
Yes. Yes.
Would you like a motion?
No, I don't need a motion. I just need David. So, hi.
I thought we had this discussion.
We did.
Right.
I ignored you.
And you, I could tell.
David, if you remember 20 plus years ago, Harvey Polanski was the superintendent of schools.
Right.
You were the board chair, and I used to come to your board meetings. And I would bug you. I would bug you because South End School was going to be renovated. And I heard that from the time my son was in kindergarten, and I started going to PTO meetings till the time he graduated from 5th grade at South End School. The school was gonna be renovated. And I used to come and I'd sit in your meetings and I'd hear things. Didn't hear about renovation. And one night I went up to you and I said, Mr. Daranowski, I was formal back then, and I said to you, Mr. Daranowski, what time frame are we looking at? And you said to me, and I will never forget, school boards move at the speed of glaciers. Did you not hear that from David? Many times over the years.
Glacial speed.
Glacial speed, yes. School boards have glacial speed. And I always remembered that. And when I presented you with the bill for the curtains for the, the shades for the cafegimatorium at
remember
South
that.
End School, yes. And you laughed at me and you said, no, the Board of Ed isn't paying for it, the PTO will. I went, And then you said to me, why don't you run for the board?
Yep.
And you, my husband, and Brian Gorelski all got tired of hearing me moan and complain about the Board of Ed. And I did. And I ran. And I got on. And
Yep.
I've been the bane of your existence ever since. And I know that.
She is not lying.
Yeah. David, you and I agreed on more than we disagreed on.
True.
When we hired people, you and I usually were of the alike mind.
Yep.
And quite frankly, anytime I had a question, you were the man I turned to. And when I became board chair, you were my first call because your experience, your wisdom, and the things that I've known you've seen over the years were just more than I'll ever experience. And I'm gonna get emotional because I have felt that you are not only my colleague, you are someone I could turn to, someone I could trust when I had a tough question, we had tough decisions to make, I would talk to you. And more often than not, you would steer me in the right direction. In fact, I can't think of any time you steered me in the wrong direction. But that being said, to say you're gonna be missed is putting it mildly. You are an institution on this board, your wisdom, your judgment, your knowledge, I don't know anybody who could top it. I will miss you very, very much on this board. and I am grateful to having spent 18 years serving with you. So thank you, and on behalf of the board, I can't believe I'm making it through this. A little something for you, sir, just to commemorate.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're not going to get teary-eyed, are you?
No.
Okay. I know your fellow board members want to say something too. I'm not the only one. I'm just the only one that's up here.
Okay, okay.
All right.
I could probably spend the next 2.5 hours, reminiscing over the things that have happened over the last 34 years.
Yeah,
We've had a lot of great times. We've had a lot of
Not so
not so great times.
yes.
But the board has always worked as a team, and we always got through it.
Yeah.
We've had great staff.
Yes, we
We've got great staff right now, which makes,
Which we hired. We
exactly.
hired- Exactly,
That's
we
right.
hired them.
And I have to say that, the board has always been very cohesive when it comes to major issues.
Mm.
We may not have always agreed, but we've always come to some mutual agreement, which benefited the kids.
Exactly,
And that's the only reason that we're here, is what's best for kids.
exactly.
We've had some staff members who didn't agree with some of the stuff we did, but again, we're here for the kids, not for staff.
Right.
Although I will say that I think over the years, we've been able to have some great teams put together for negotiations.
Mhm.
I know Bob Brown, who's been, on all those committees, and Zaya, Terry. I know we've got new board members, and I think in time, I think you're all gonna do great. Okay, we got good mentors. I may be leaving, but we still have some, and I'll use my old timers
There we
that
are.
you can learn from. And I will say that we have an administrative staff that, and again, it's easy to say because they're all here. But over the years, we've had good administrative staff. And I won't talk down on anybody in the past because they're not here. But I will say though that right now, I think the school board and the administrative staff that we have here is probably the best in the state. I mean, again, the focus, the ability to get done with the limited resources. Everybody says, well, you spend too much money. I'll tell you, we could use more in order to get some better systems in place, to help kids. But we do well. I think we do very well. And again, it's because of who we have supporting the board from the administrative side. We got great parents. And again, I can't say I'm not gonna miss it, because, I had on my calendar every other Thursday,
Where are you? Yeah.
okay,
You can come back, you can,
and I will say I'm not done yet, because I have one more meeting to do. Right, Frank?
all right,
Nick?
okay.
Yep, so I have one more meeting to do, and I'm gonna make a real presence at that one,
Whoops.
but, personnel policy.
Okay, okay.
But overall, I have to say that I'm very thankful for the opportunity over the years to serve Southington and the kids. But again, I couldn't have done it all by myself. And I can name names way back when I first got started with Rip Montague,
Okay.
Louis Perillo, some of these guys who I was on the board with early on. And I tell you, it was an experience. And over time, you do learn. You learn what not to do, and you're always striving for excellence. And I've always had, support from other board members, for things that we wanted to do as a team. It's not an individual
No, it's not,
position.
that it isn't. I know that Mrs. Carmody has her hand up already. Mrs. Carmody?
Well, yes, I don't think I could go, Dave, without telling you what you mean to me. Colleen and I are the second oldest people on the board, but I look better than Colleen.
You're the
Longest
You're
serving.
the longest serving, second longest serving, not the oldest.
Okay, whatever.
Zaya, we'll talk later.
Okay, well, anyway, you have been a true gentleman to me at all times. When I got on the board, And certainly when I became chairman, I didn't know anything, Dave. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, or 6:45 in the morning, I would call you up, and we were on opposite parties, okay? And I'd say, Dave, what do I do? Did I do something wrong? How do I change it, Dave? Because I don't want to look like a fool, because, you know, I thought I was. And you were so kind and took the time to explain everything to me and to tell me what the consequences of my actions would be. And I can't tell you how helpful that was. You were just so gracious. But probably the most important thing about you, besides ending up being my dear friend, was the day I retired from teaching, which was a very, very difficult thing to do after 30-something years. And I'm walking down the hall, and who do you think is coming looking for me to say goodbye but the chairman of the Board of Education, which was Dave Daranowski, to give me a hug and to thank me for my years of service. And I can't tell you how much that meant to me. And I will never, ever forget that, Dave. So you are a loss. I'm going to miss you. I know all of us on the board are going to miss you. I probably still will call you because
will.
I know you will answer my phone calls when you see my name. So I'm going to miss you terribly, Dave.
Well, thank you.
Good luck.
Well, just to let you know, in order to change my phone number, I think I'm gonna have to call the ID department.
Don't
And
change
I'm so busy
it.
right now that I probably won't get around
Don't
to it.
change it.
So you can call me anytime, you know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you.
Bob, did you want to?
Yeah, I'm not going to give a long speech, but I just want the public to know that the man you see, who's a man of class and dignity and wisdom, is the same man when we go in executive session and we do all our business. Dave's a class act. He's a guy who knows what's going on. He's the institutional wisdom of our board. And one of the coolest things I find is, because I go way back too, is that we kind of have parallel lives in the same place. You know, I was a teacher and a union president and all those things, and you were on the board, and we have some interesting stories to tell about the kind of the middle there of what was going on. So, but we're going to miss you, and I hope you don't go away. I also wish you all the best in whatever you're doing. I know you're still working, and hopefully retirement. I would give it some thought. And wish you all the best. You're a class act, and you've been a good friend and a mentor, and he is the guy that you see. That's who he is.
Okay, well, thank you, Bob.
Zaya, you wanted to ask?
So I've heard the Daranowski name since I was a kid, from my dad, about your uncle,
Yep.
and about you. And I have this memory, long, long time ago, I think it was your first campaign, in the parking lot at the Carousel, painting signs. It was a long, long time ago. And what you've done from there until now is amazing. I mean, I think the town owes you a huge debt of gratitude. You're a Democrat, but no, you're a public servant. You're a member of the Board of Education. You and I have disagreed on votes in the past. And yet, nobody's ever told you what to do, because you have one thing in mind, is to do what's right for the kids.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if it's right for the kids. You're fiscally conservative, and I think that's a very important part for this
Some
board.
people have said I was cheap.
I would never have said that about you, Dave, never.
But sitting through finance meetings with you over the years, you point out very important things. You don't want how the money should be spent. Sitting through policy meetings with you, your institutional knowledge of what's happened, what should be happening, the state regulations, the federal regulations. I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge, and I think that loss of this for this board is going to be huge. And your friendship, you're just a heck of a guy. And I think the fact that I didn't think you were not going to run. I thought you were going to run again. I think a lot of people thought you were going to run again. And when you said no, I think the whole town was a little upset. I think the students are going to miss you. The parents are going to miss you. The board's going to miss you. We're going to miss you, Dave. So thank you for everything that you've done over the years. And we're still going to have lunch, because work right around the corner. So we'll be able to get together and do that. But thank you, and as Bob said, a long, healthy exit from here, but you're not gonna go away. You'll be around. And you got a lot of other things to do going forward, but we'll see you around town.
Thank you, Zach.
Dave, I'll keep it short. Ever since I first got on the board, your wealth of knowledge, the way that you're able to just call up things from, well, 26 years ago, this is exactly what we did, and this was the weather outside and everything. I can't get over your ability to just recall and, you know, again, a testament, and what I think we all could essentially strive for is acknowledging, I guess, our own flaws and our own missteps and trying to do better the next time. And, you know, again, I think, honestly, your 34 years of service has led us here today with the great administration that we have, again, a more transparent board. I remember you telling me stories about how things used to be. And, you know, the fact that we could present budgets now and people actually trust us on other boards, I think is important. And, you know, again, you and I have had our disagreements, but it's always been out of good faith. And, you know, I thank you so much for being a part of my understanding of what it is to be a board member. And, you know, I wish you luck in whatever other fun stuff that you find to do.
Well, my next goal is to get out of 4 other boards that I'm on.
There you go. So I'll counter Terry's point earlier, being the shortest serving board member. You know, only I think the 4th meeting now. But it's been a privilege to serve with you. I think it'd be remiss if I didn't mention, maybe not necessarily that you've been on the board my entire lifetime, but more importantly, you've been on the board since, you know, I've gone through the entire school system. And I think it should speak volumes to you that your work and the work you put in the schools, although perhaps I should give credit to Colleen for renovating Kennedy and I got the new building, but you know, it's a testament that one of your students is now on the board as sort of the new guard. So once again, it's been a privilege to get to know you, and I look forward to the work. I'm sure you'll be around in the schools helping the town. So thank you, Dave.
Dave, congratulations. You know, it's a decision that I know that you didn't take lightly. And I personally appreciate your service. I'm here today because of people like yourself. The town and all of its citizens and students owe you a debt of gratitude. I decided 5 years ago to run for the Board of Education because of what the board and the administration did for me as a student, as a kid growing up in Southington. And so I made a decision that when I moved back to town, that I was gonna pay it forward. And you exemplify that thinking. And so I just want to thank you. You know, when I graduated high school way back in the 90s, you know, you were doing what you still do today. And so we do owe you a debt of gratitude, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for people like you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Big Dave. The legend, King. So honestly, I'm just honored to be able to say a couple of words about working with you, Dave. I think that people typically and generally speaking don't understand the hours that you've put in volunteering. Just so everybody knows, no one's getting paid for this. So 34 years civic volunteering. I just think that's amazing, because when we talk about the world that we're in, political ideology aside, this is what makes the world better, Dave, is people like you investing in the community, your community. We can't change the world, but we could start
one community at a time. And I think, you know, you've been on the board since I was 14 or 15 years old, and I'm proud to say that I had the opportunity to work alongside you. I really wish you the best, Dave. I think that you're one in a million, honestly. I think that the community needs more people like you, and I hope when folks see the vision that you had and the work that you put into it, it would invigorate them to do the same for their community, the same as it has done for me. So I appreciate everything that you've done for Southington, Dave. I think that's why we're all here, because we really are engaged and we have a feeling of community with this town. And I'll stop by saying this, or end by saying this. You are kind of frustrating though, Dave, because you ask the best questions, right? And I think that comes with experience, right? And so, you know, we're looking at all the numbers and we're, you know, thinking about what to say and how should we approach this. But you always have a knack of asking the best question, because I think it's always geared towards what's best for the children.
Yep.
Right, Dave? So I think I'll leave it at that, but good luck, best of luck with everything. It's a big loss, Dave, but you know, I'll know you do well in the future in retirement as well.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
thank you. I will say, though, that I feel very confident that, you know, me leaving, I think the board here, you know, we have a vision. The vision was put together by the administration, and we all tied into it. And I tell you, I think it's a good plan. And as long as we can keep that moving forward, I think Southington is going to do well. Little note, okay? When I first got on the board in 1991, okay, I got put on a committee. Cheryl Wack was the chairman of the board, and Janice McDonald was the vice chair. And they wanted a volunteer to put together a plan for the school renovations. So me being on the board and saying, oh, go ahead, no, I'll volunteer. I knew a little bit about construction. I had a brother-in-law who was heavy into it, and I could always rely on him for getting some advice. So I got on this committee. Well, I'll tell you, what an adventure that's been. We put a plan together that was phenomenal. We figured it would take 8 to 9 years to renovate all the schools.
And
34 years later, we're still not
working.
done.
Glacial speed, David, glacial speed.
Glacial, that's where I coined the phrase. Everything in this Southington, as far as education goes, moves at glacial speed. And I tell you, nobody's been able to disprove that. And we're still working on it. In fact, the first renovation project was Central Elementary, where we turned the high school into an elementary school. Right? That went, I'm lying, it didn't go smooth. There was nothing but problems. Contractor problems, bonding problems. You know, the town had to take the project back. It was a disaster. We finally ended up getting it done because Montague, Louis Perillo, myself, there was one other board member, we became the construction managers, kind of overseeing, working with the town engineering department to get the balance of the work done. That's how bad it was. But we got it done, school was able to open up, things worked out fine, you know, pretty well. But that was the first disaster that I was involved with. And then things got slowed down a little bit because of, we couldn't get the right architect, and the board at that time couldn't decide, well, what school was gonna be next. And that was the only time I can honestly say that the board couldn't agree on anything. Okay? Simple solution would have been, we'll do them all at the same time. You know, the John Weichel, who was and I think it was head of the council at the time was Andy Mead. And we had a meeting with him. He said, you guys are all dreaming. It's not gonna happen that way. But as it turned out, we ended up selecting another school. We did 2 schools at one time, was Hatton,
Patton Strong and Thalberg.
yeah, right, 3
These are
schools.
3 schools. Yeah, that was the
And,
trifecta.
That didn't
That
work out.
didn't go well.
Then the middle schools were starting to fall apart, so we had, anyway, we're still not done. So good luck.
David,
Again, thank you very much.
can we give him a round of applause, please?
All right, let's get the business part of this.
All right, we're getting the business part of the meeting. Okay. Ready to do business? Let's do some business here. I'm looking for an approval of the minutes of October 9th.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Communications from our students.
Hello, everyone. To begin today's report, we're going to start with the districts. So to begin with South End Elementary, they're going to host their 3rd annual Halloween Carnival this Friday, and members of the Key Club at Southington High School will be helping run the games and crafts. To begin with JFK, their Best Buddies program have begun to a great start. This Monday, there was a buddy match party where pairs of students were paired together to come up with their charter and develop their goals for the year. They also recognized their first round of Eagle Excellence Student Award recipients on Wednesday with a bagel breakfast for their families. Students were nominated for demonstrating qualities like ambition, leadership, and empathy. And the 8th graders also enjoyed their team building program called Grit and Wit. Students completed an obstacle course while completing mind-solving puzzles at a fast-paced environment. They used grit and determination to strengthen their connections with their peers and had a great time. To begin with our updates at SHS, the Cyber Knights robotics teams will be holding their annual competition known as the Cyber Knights Invitational that they hope to continue in the future. 28 teams from around New England will be coming to compete in this exciting event at Southington High School. On October 25th, we're going to have our annual Music of the Night Festival on the turf fields, where our marching band will be competing alongside many teams from all over the state. They're all going to showcase their passion for music. And our marching band has done exceptionally well this season with 4 out of 5 wins, and they will be competing at the States on October 25th and the Nationals on November 8th at MetLife.
To continue with the SHS report, we held our first blood drive at Southington High School, and we had over 16 new donors that gave blood for the first time. And we not only hit our goal, but we actually exceeded our goal, and we had 111% of what we had expected. So
Wow.
that was great. That blood will obviously be given out to neighboring states, and so we would like to thank anybody, the staff and students that came out to support us. So as you can see, one of our 3 members is not here tonight. He's at our Model UN field trip, and they are coming back from New York just now. So they had spent the day and worked with other kids from other states to work on the Model UN club. Homecoming and the pep rally are coming up next week, November 7th and November 8th, where juniors and seniors will be hosting their annual dance and pep rally. So be on the lookout for that. And then finally, this weekend rounds off with 9 teams from around New England coming to Southington High and hosting a girls volleyball tournament. So this weekend is filled with a lot of events and a lot of traffic. So the fall season is winding down, as many of the teams will be beginning their postseason play over the next week or 2. Starting off with our girls team. The girls soccer team has celebrated their senior night, and they recognize the Southington Girls Soccer Club. They will be hosting their first round state game on November 1st. Many members from the league were part of the opening ceremonies and were served as the ball girls. Unified Sports had a soccer tournament at the school. Over 120 students participated in this event, and many of our student athletes volunteered to make it a great event. JFK and JAD participated in a volleyball game at Southington High School, where after the Southington girls volleyball team played Plainville High. The girls swim team has senior night tomorrow night, and the cross country, which again our third member is a part of, is undefeated, both girls and boys. So they are completely undefeated, which is great. And then the boys football team plays tomorrow at Manchester. I wanted to, this wasn't a part of our script, but Mr. Darrenowski, during your speech, I heard the word kids possibly over a dozen times. I have never heard that many times in one speech, but we thank you. I know out of the three of us, we would like to thank you for your 34 years of service. It's a blessing to have been in this district under people like you. And to the rest of you, we hope to see our board doing great things, and we already see you guys listening to us. That's one of the biggest things that many districts don't have. So we thank you, Mr. Darrenowski, we thank you, and good luck in your future. That concludes our report for this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
that was nice. Any questions of the students? Mr. Carson?
Just one question, and I might have missed it. Is there a date for the invitational hosted by the Cyber Knights?
Yeah, Sunday.
Yes, that will be this Sunday. On Saturday, we're going to have the setup, and Sunday, all the teams will come to participate in the competition.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, 7:30. Okay. Thank you, students. Communications from board members. Yeah, I would, how can you not?
I'm not going to mention the Wall of Honor, although it was fantastic last night. We inducted 2 new people. Is this on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going to talk
No,
about.
I wasn't,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
This is our last meeting as a board, as this board. I want to tell you what an honor it's been serving with all of you and serving the community, and also want to wish you all the best of luck in the election. Hope people go out and vote, and that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Darrenowski?
I just wanted to bring up a little historical fact, and I appreciate all your kind words and all, but I can say way back when, Harry Plansky was the superintendent. I was the chair when we hired him. And he came up with a great idea about having a representative from somebody at the high school to represent the high school students at our board meetings. So we initiated that. The board was unanimous in having that entered. And then our first recipient, okay, to the board of the student rep was a great young kid, young man, who went on to do some great things. Went through college. I think, last I heard, but again, this is many years ago, but I think he started his own business, but he's doing quite well. And then over the years, as things progressed, you know, we needed more information. And then we ended up, now we have 3 students. The students are actually governing themselves now, where they're going through the selection process. So I'll tell you, so it's, over time, things have gotten much better. And again, every year we have and I don't want to demean this, their position, but we have a nice young crop of youngsters who really do a great job representing the students in the high school to the board.
Yes.
So
We do indeed.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other board members? No? Okay. Administration, Mr. Medancy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple brief announcements this week. Mrs. Oresco and I had a wonderful conversation and learned of a program called the Friends Room. It currently exists in Farmington, and they're expanding to Southington. It'll be at Plantsville Congregational Church. We met with Reverend Jane Willen and Jill Battaglia. And what the Friends Room is it's a program that for when our students age out of the 18 to 22-year-old program, very often they don't have a program to go to if they're not going to occupation. And this is a program that allows them to come together, to provide social opportunities, to be out. It's a community-based program. And so it's something that some of our families already participate in at the Farmington location, so it's going to be a wonderful benefit to our community. That was one. The second is the Veterans Committee meeting that we had on Monday. The partnership with our veterans here continues to be tremendous. It's something, ever since I've arrived in Southington, it was something I was admired. So I'm glad to see that it still exists to this extent. You know, polling all of the schools about what we're going to be doing and talking with the veterans about some of their offerings. We plan on having veterans assemblies, you know, educating our students about the purpose behind Veterans Day, celebrating our veterans, both veterans in the community as well as family members that are veterans. You know, Kelly School is going to continue with its Connecticut Veterans Corvette Club car parade, where they come through with all the vets and celebrate the veterans that are at their assemblies. We have guest speakers, which are many of our own community veterans that speak about their experiences. We're doing toiletry drives for the VA hospital to try and provide some of the vets some of the materials that they would need. And then capped off by what's always a big hit every year, the Southington High School's Veterans Concert that is going to be on November 10th at 6 o'clock. And for those of you who have never been, it's a really nice event, very patriotic in nature. Music of the night is this Saturday. Our students will be performing, I want to get it right, because the exact time is important. Our performance is going to happen at 9:15. Because we host, we can't compete. So we just our exhibition. So we take the field at 9:15. Then the Yukon Marching Band will take the field at 9:30. Having been for several years now, I can guarantee you that it's not going to be that quick. But then we plan on starting to present awards to all of the different schools that attend at 10 o'clock. And so if any of you are around on Saturday night, you know where to find us. And lastly, I just asked, you know, the upcoming election day, while it's election day, it's an important day of learning for our staff. And so I asked Mrs. Oresco just to share out a little bit of some of the professional developments that's going to be occurring that I think would be a benefit to some of our staff. This is not the exhaustive list of you know, sessions that we're offering, but I will say between Mrs. Zapone, Mrs. Savalcall, and Mr. Pepe, our PDEC committee, the menu of items that our staff have available to them this year, starting with our convocation, which will be at 8 o'clock. You're all welcome to attend. That part will be very brief. We have a keynote speaker, Joe Brumma, to talk about, my Rhode Island accent, it's Joe Brummer, Joe Brumma. Joe Brummer to talk about trauma-informed instruction. And then we're doing breakout sessions for the rest of the day where staff each take 3 breakout sessions. And Mrs. Zapone has arranged for food trucks to be on the property, so for each of their lunch sessions, they can just go out into the lot and grab some lunch, and then head back in and continue with their learning. So Mrs. Resco, if you wanted to share a little bit.
Sure, thank you. 13 of the sessions we'll be offering fall under the umbrella of student services or supports for students in the classroom. Things like restorative practices, implementing accommodations in the classroom, executive function skills and how that applies at different levels, de-escalation strategies, trauma-informed practices, and this is an interesting one, utilizing paraeducators in the secondary classroom, because we really want to grow independence, yet students still need some level of support. And primarily these sessions are being designed and delivered by Southington staff.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay.
Any questions? Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Brown.
just comment that some of those are things we've talked about as teachers need the training and how to address some of the student needs that we haven't seen before, so thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Medancy. Okay, next up, communications from the public on agenda items. Seeing none. Okay, moving along. Town government communications. Mr. Medancy, do you have anything?
I do not.
I do. What a surprise. Okay. I know. Well, Mr. Darrenowski and I are serving on a committee that I don't know if everyone is familiar with, America 250, celebrating the anniversary of the birth of our nation. And we obviously are covering the educational segment. So I asked Mrs. Zapone for some information, what the schools are doing, and I'm going to report this out at the next meeting that we're having, which I believe is next Tuesday? Next Tuesday, yeah. But I thought I'll give you a heads up on what I'm going to be saying. Southington Public Schools will commemorate America 250 by integrating themes of citizenship, service, and American history across all grade levels. The district will audit current K-12 curricula to identify where related topics are already being taught and highlight them throughout the year. Schools will participate in an active citizen project, encouraging student engagement through service clubs, community connections, and school-based celebrations such as assemblies, performances, and Red, White, and Blue Day on June 4th. Additional initiatives include a writing and art contest on What Does America Mean to You, displays at central office, and partnerships with organizations like the American Legion and the DAR to recognize local contributions. Through these efforts, students will deepen their understanding of American history while honoring the nation's 250th anniversary. So I thank you for the work that you're doing with the curriculum. This committee is very interesting because we have representation from
Across the board.
right across, you name the organization, and they have a member that's coming to this. So how we can cohesively as a community. And I find it fascinating to hear the history of Southington and its involvement in the American Revolution with Christina Volpe, who has is a wealth of, I mean, we all know she's a wealth of knowledge, but yeah. So we're gonna be presenting that at our next meeting next week, so, yes. So that is that for town government communications. Policy, we have three motions, yep.
Second readings with motions.
Yep.
So move that the Board of Education approve policy 3541 as presented by the Policy and Personnel Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Second, move that the Board of Education approve policy 5131.3911 as presented by the Policy and Personnel Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So this is the administering medication policy. Move that the Board of Education approve policy 5141.21 as presented by the Policy and Personnel Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is the adoption of the Southington Public Schools Strategic Plan for 2025-2030. Do I have a motion?
Second.
I'm not making, somebody has to make.
I think Mr. Darrenowski.
Mr. Darrenowski just made that, did you just make that motion? You're going to be first and second.
I'll second it. He made the motion, I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Darrenowski we're going to give Mr. Darrenowski all the motions tonight. Okay. Is there any discussion regarding the plan? Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Okay. New business, district data presentation. This is we're just getting a presentation. If we have any questions, we should forward them to you, Mr. Medancy? Is that the way to do it? Okay, just wanted to be sure.
I heard they were going to do this in a cappella. Is that true?
Three-part harmony.
Okay.
Three-part harmony.
Not our strong suit.
Numbers, she does numbers. She does great numbers. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Zapone.
All right, good evening, everyone. I think we know each other, but just to put our names out there, Amy Zapone, Director of Teaching and Learning, and tonight I have with me Stephanie Lawler, our Literacy and Social Studies Coordinator, and Alicia Nailway, our Math and Science Coordinator. So tonight we're here to give you a summary overview, kind of a high-level overview of how the district did K-8 we're going to focus on tonight, and we're going to specifically look at achievement and growth across our core content areas. So we will dive into literacy data, math data, as well as science data this evening. You may recall from previous years, we have an accountability index from the state, Next Generation Accountability, and there are 12 different indicators that we look at through that data system. Tonight, we will focus in on a couple of those, and then throughout the year, we usually provide updates on other areas within that index. So we will begin tonight with literacy, and Ms. Lawler will bring you through the growth and achievement of our students in grades 3 through 8.
Okay, hi, good evening. So this slide shows how Southington students performed, the percentage of students who met level 3 or 4 on Smarter Balance. You can see as a district we have 66.9% of students across grades 3 through 8 meeting level 3 or 4. We've had a slight increase in this number over the past 5 years. And down below you can see the breakdown by grade level, the percentage of students meeting level 3 or 4 in each grade level. This slide shows a breakdown of the achievement levels. So you can see level 1 is indicated by the red bar, and level 4, which would be exceeding the expectation, that is indicated by the green bar. And you can see over the past 5 years, if you look at the green bar, we've increased the percentage of students who fall in that level 4 range. Also, at the same time, if you look at the percentage of students in the level 1 category, we've had a decrease across the 5 years. This slide breaks down, you can see in the first row, all students, the percentage of students meeting level 3 or 4. And then down below, we break down and look at our non-high needs population and our high needs population. High needs are students who are students with disabilities, students who are ML learners, and students who qualify for free and reduced lunch. So that is our high needs subpopulation. And so when you look across the years, we've had some growth since 21-22 in the percentage of students in those categories meeting level 3 or 4 on Smarter Balance. So this slide shows how Southington compares to other districts in our DIRG. You can see out of 19 districts, we are 7th from the top, and I know those numbers are really tiny, but we're like 3.3% away from East Granby, which is at the top of the DIRG. So in addition to looking at student achievement, with our accountability index, we also look at student growth. So when students take Smarter Balance starting in 3rd grade, when they have their results starting that year and every year after, they are assigned a growth target. And so Smarter Balance and our accountability index, we look at what percentage of that growth target are students meeting. So this past year, on average, students are meeting 64.1% of their growth target. And again, you can see since 21-22, that number is increasing in the amount of target that they're meeting. That first year is 18-19, and that was the year before the pandemic. Okay, my favorite slide. So in addition to talking to you a little bit about 3 through 8 Smarter Balance data, I want to share with you, and I shared with you last year, our K-2 reading data. So if you recall last year, I gave you an overview of the science of reading and talked to you a little bit about Benchmark Advance, which is our new literacy program. K-2 implemented last year, so we are starting year 2 with K-2 teachers, and 3 through 5 is implementing this year. Last year, you can see in the fall, the percentage of students who were meeting the benchmark. So for example, kindergarten, 40% of our students came into kindergarten meeting the benchmark on DIBELS. And by the spring of 2025, we had 89% of students meeting that benchmark. So we saw tremendous growth in grade 1 as well. And grade 2, we were just shy of 80% of students. Down below, you can see, again, those achievement levels, red meaning well below benchmark, needing substantial support. And you can see those achievement changes from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So we're really proud of the teachers. They've been working really hard. Implementing anything new is really hard. It's a big lift. And the teachers did an amazing job. And they're doing a great job supporting the 3 through 5 teachers because they've got the heavy lift now. And so they're a good resource for them. So thank you.
Awesome. Okay, and then to continue, we're going to talk about Smarter Balanced math data. So if you look, this is a similar graph to what Ms. Lawler had shared earlier. You can see that our district average of students scoring levels 3 or 4 on ESPA is 66.7%. And then you can see the breakdown in grades 3 through 8. What you can't see on the screen is actually in grades 3 through 7, this is the highest level of students achieving bands 3 or 4 in the last, it's over 5 years actually, and 8th grade is the second highest. So that's something that we attribute to our focus on high quality math instruction and our high quality professional development opportunities. When we look at the breakdown of math by level, you can see from 2020 to 2025, an increase in level 4 exceeds. You can see that the green bar increases from, excuse me, from 2021 until 2025. So that's something that we're really proud of, that 39%, I think that says 39% of our students in grades 3 through 8 achieved a band 4 on ESPA Math. The other thing that we're proud of is you can see that our bands 1 and 2 students, if you look at the charts from 2020 till today, has also decreased along those years as well. The breakdown here is similar. It's breaking down all students versus non-high needs and high needs students. You can see that we've made great gains in all areas over the years, so that's something that we're also proud of. In looking at ESPA Math data across our DIRG, we actually are ranked 3rd highest in the DIRG, and it's very hard to see the numbers, but we're actually 0.6% from being the top of the DIRG, so that's something that is good to note as well. And then finally, when we look at academic growth in math, so in addition to some strong achievement, we also are growing our math learners. So this past year, 70% on average of the target was achieved in math.
Okay, and then wrapping up with taking a peek at science. So for science, it's the Next Generation Science Standard Assessment, also from the state, and they have the same configuration, so 4 levels. Level 3 and 4 is considered meeting expectation or exceeding it. District average was 69.4% of our students were proficient or greater, and this assessment is given just in grades 5, 8, and 11 as benchmark years in science. So you can see the grade level percentages below. Similar to last year, grade 8 is performing strongest with achievement. I will point out though, grade 11 was at 59% last year, and they jumped up to 67.2. So a change that we made at the high school over the last year was implementation of some new science units, along with administering interim assessments from the state so that we can see how kids are doing along the way. So some changes that were made there yielded some positive results in that grade level. Taking a look at the 4 levels, just like ELA and math, similarly, our green band has grown small but incrementally over time, and that red band is decreasing. So trying to move students towards that level of proficiency out of yellow into at least proficient or beyond. Looking at subgroups, all students are high needs and are non-high needs. While our high needs achievement level is certainly not where we want it to be yet, the positive here is that we are making movement. More students are reaching a level 3 or 4 across all of the subgroups of students. So we will continue to work there and look at different modifications and supports for students with needs across our content areas. In comparison to the DIRG, we are also 3rd in the DIRG, a few percentage points away from East Lyme. Our science NGSS performance has been strong over the last few years, and we have made a push to ensure we are teaching it systemically from K through graduation so that there is that continuity of science standards. To summarize the data, there are some bright spots and some growth areas, but we're not naive to know that there is certainly still work to do, and that's what our jobs are all about, figuring ways to improve and do better and bring the best curriculum and instruction to students. So a lot of changes have been put in place to bring in strong, highly aligned curriculum to the standards. But in addition to that, instructional practice is just as important. So our day-to-day work is ensuring there's high quality instruction and supports for every educator in every classroom. Coupled with that is the professional development that we're constantly offering, and it's all data driven. So we're getting better about honing into different data sets and really drilling down to individual student level and figuring out if something's not working, what is the response? How do our teams react, and what plans do we put in place? So thank you for listening tonight. Appreciate the time to share some of our successes and growth areas.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. This is a lot of information to take in. So we have, I think we all have a copy of your presentation. So I know I want to go over it because there were some areas that I was kind of curious about. So if we filter our questions, can we do that through you? And then maybe at a later date, come back and tell us, you can give us the answer.
I could share some of the questions and answers.
Okay.
My administrative report.
Okay, that would be great. That would be great. But to see the numbers going in the right direction is really, and especially the reading, to me, in the early grades, that's awesome, absolutely awesome. I thank you for coming and being here. I know it's a lot of numbers. Yeah, but we appreciate it.
Thank you.
So are you guys, are we pleased at the progress we're making? We are doing phonetics now, correct? So do you see, and am I right about that? Remember, I remember talking about that at our last curriculum meeting.
Yeah.
That we thought if we changed our approach to phonetic, which is.
Adding phonics.
I'm all
Right.
for that.
Yep.
That we would see some improvement in our grades. Are we seeing that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, are
we
we seeing?
changed our approach to how we're teaching phonics, and we also changed our assessment. And the assessment piece was really a game changer because it helped us drill down to specific areas of foundational reading, like phonemic and phonological awareness, decoding by assessing with nonsense words to see really truly if students have that sound letter correspondence solid. So yes.
So you would see, you would then say that you do see improvement in that area?
Oh yes.
Yeah, okay. Because you know what, following this, because of course, you know, I'm into curriculum, and I know you love working with me.
I do.
I love working with you too. Reading about the students in the United States of America, they all are falling behind in reading and math. And no one seems to really know the answer.
This is
Joe?
This is the answer.
What?
A phone, technology. Nobody reads a book anymore.
That's what's doing, well, you're
100%.
probably right, Joe. I don't know the answer. I'm just saying, any articles that you read, most districts are, and we're doing fairly well, obviously. When we look at our DIRG, we're doing well, and you guys work really hard and we're introducing as many new things as we can. I mean, what you've done in curriculum has been wonderful. 18 years that I've seen the curriculum, it's been wonderful. The problem is we are universally, our students are just not doing well in reading and math. And I don't know the answer. And Joe, maybe you're right, Joe, that they're on the phones all the time and doing that. I don't know the answer, but it's very bothersome to me to see. You don't see kids with a book reading, okay? Right? I mean, you don't see that.
It depends, yeah.
And I don't know if you can correct that. I don't know if I have an answer for that, but something's got to change. Something's got to change. Just like you don't see kids outside in a neighborhood playing. You know, you go by a neighborhood where there's a lot of kids, they're not outside playing. Our kids are always outside playing. You don't see that anymore. It's so changed. I just wish we could do something.
Well, I'll leave you with this. I was in a 7th grade classroom today, and we're piloting Common Lit 360, and the texts are very challenging, and they're very engaging. And they had a long story they had read over a few days with the teacher, and the 7th grade teacher said to me, the kids were so engaged, every kid, in the short story. They connected with the characters, and like at the end, the kids were clapping, like for the character, because she overcame, you know,
Good.
she wasn't feeling like she was
Good.
fitting in. The kids were clapping and they were excited, and they said that they're super engaged. So I think it's about connecting kids with books that they connect with and challenging all kids, right? All kids having access to that grade level complex text, so they'll read.
Well, you know, listen, I'm just saying that it's very bothersome to me what I'm seeing, the trends that I'm seeing. And I don't know that I have any answers. And I know you're doing the very best. I know how hard you're working. I know all of the programs that you have changed, and our elementary kids seem to do better, but as they get older, they are into the telephones, they are into the social media, and they are not performing the way we want them to.
And I think that's a discussion that we could go on for hours about, Mrs. Carmody. So again, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the work that you've done. Thank you for the help that,
thank
the
you,
information that you've shared, and we'll forward our questions to Mr. Medancy for you, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you, thank you.
She's on a roll.
All right.
Can I just ask one question to
General question?
Yeah.
Okay.
clarify? And again, maybe for administration, the growth targets that were part of the presentation, those are set by staff in conjunction with the administration, correct?
No, they're set by the State Department of Education using a formula based on the previous year's achievement.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda, public communications. Anyone in the public which wish to speak? Okay, seeing no one. Before we do our last one, I would just like to say thank you to everyone. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve with you. I hope to see us all back. Well, Mr. Darrenowski, we're not going to see you, but we will see you, and you will be missed, sir, but you won't be sitting up here with us. But I hope you all do well, and I wish you all the best of luck on Election Day.
Before I make my final motion, I would like to, again, it's been an honor serving with everybody, and I wish everybody luck that's running for reelection. And I hope you all do well. I still maintain that this board is very cohesive, very focused, and I think you all work well together.
We try.
Again, so with that, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you all. Now, we could be.